think I see Sale out of the corner of my eye. Oh, hello. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Mike. I have my hat on. I'm more than a little melancholy today because all of my friends should be here in my apartment already. I should have had friends starting to fly in like on Thursday. My house should be full and I should be surrounded by all the people I love. Happy Derby Day, kind of, right? So that's I know that I try to be, I figure here I am in the middle of the hot spot of the pandemic, and it's my job to show you that we can stay upbeat and sane. But all my friends should be at my house today, and nobody's going to be here. So I'm a little sad, a little melancholy, and I'm making it worse by listening to Prince. So there you go. So today is Saturday, and since I don't do Sundays, I have decided that the best thing for me to do is kind of go through the fridge and try to clean up and make the most of what is still left over from the previous week, so that I don't have things going to waste. I am tomorrow doing an event, an online wine class. Hello, Christopher. Hello, Denise. Hello, Elizabeth. And so I'm doing an online class tomorrow. So the more I clean my refrigerator out today, the easier it will be to get to things tomorrow. And I might even have some stuff that I might use tomorrow. I have over here, I have a big old beautiful D'Artagnan chicken breast. I put a little garlic powder and a little onion salt into this plate and just laid it skin side down right onto there. Been letting that sit there for a few minutes. I have half a shallot sitting here. I don't know why. I don't know what. Oh, yes, because I have a bag of haricots verts that need to be blanched, and I thought maybe I'd eat a little of them with the chicken breast warm, sauteed in a little butter and shallot. There's that. I have my favorite, a little blue cheese crumbled up with a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise here. I have my heavy cream handy, and we'll mix that up and make some blue cheese dressing there. I had a beautiful, beautiful box of basil, Gotham Greens basil, that just was so pretty, but it's been sitting around for a couple of days, and before it started to lose its kick, I'm going to turn that into some basil oil. I also had a few bits of leftover, what do you call these things? Scallion. So I threw that in there. I figured there's not anything that we would want to sprinkle basil on, at least here because I don't eat sweets, that I wouldn't be happy to have some onion flavor in. Yes, I also have this because I did an event on, what day is this? Is this Saturday? So on Thursday, I did another online wine class where we made pizzas. Hello, AJ. AJ was there. Hello, hello, Betty. So I've got this dough, and you see it's rising so much that it's already coming out of its container. So I'm going to try to just make something up with that. So that's what I'm going to do today. And for those of you who've just arrived, I have my hat on because it should be Derby Day. All my friends should be here at my house. Kelly should have been here since Wednesday or Thursday at the earliest, or the latest. I'm not sure which way I mean that. So I should be surrounded by people I love. My kitchen should be a total wreck, piled up with trays of biscuits rising and ham hands all day long. I should have a big old pot of mint simple syrup sitting here ready for everybody, and sending somebody off to pick up the crushed ice from the guy on 47th Street or 45th Street. I think the ice guy's on 45th Street. So anyway, and then I realized that I've eaten a lot of pizza this week, so I'm going to cut up some vegetables and kind of make myself a little veggie mix so that I will eat a couple of salads in the next couple of days. For those of you who are admiring my derby hat, I've had this one for many, many, many years. It's always, I believe, a good idea to invest in a hat because a well-made hat will last forever, especially because they tend to come with hat boxes, which is how hats should be properly stored. Tip to the slut cup, I have some bubbles down there. Chilling. But pro tip, sometimes the most beautiful part of the hat is in the back, right? So I very often, why do I want to have all that for people to see only as I'm walking away? I want the pretty in the front. So I just turn them around. That's my pro tip, my derby tip. So guys, I don't even know where to start. Should I start cooking? Let's start cooking. Maybe by the time I get the first couple of things done, the bottle of bubbles will be cold. Hello, Marie. Hello, Scotty. Hello, Mara. You guys, it's nice to have you all here. And again, to all my Kentucky buddies, I'm so sorry. I'm as melancholy as can be. It should be derby. I should be making food. I'm making it worse by listening to Prince, because that always makes me melancholy too. If you were here on his day last week, I don't know, it's all running together. I have this great had this great t-shirt made. A woman, Liz Burke, who lives in Stanford, my hometown, made this great t-shirt that said, "Ever since Prince died, shit's been weird." And shit's been weird ever since April of 2016. So let's make some basil oil. I am going to put really quite a lot of basil oil, or a lot of oil in here, just because I like to, you know, basil, we're just making some basil yum. The oil is going to preserve the basil, right? And the basil is going to flavor the oil. I would do this looking up, but I'm sure I'd start pouring it all over my feet if I looked up for 2 seconds. Here we go. Maybe that's a good starting place. And maybe I'll take the pour off. Hello, Kevin. Kevin, did you ever figure out, was that your dad in that picture of old picture of people I sent to you the other day? Oh, yeah, that looks great, guys. I'll be loud just for a second or two. This was really, really, really beautiful, fragrant basil. And so I'm going to set that aside because I will later put it into a clean container. This is one of the things I love to do to recycle. And, you know, it's hard to do to keep even when you recycle these kinds of things. But this is one of the few jarred dressings that I buy is 365 carrot ginger dressing. And that's because making carrot ginger dressing is a real pain in the tuchus. So there's that. And I have to tell you guys, I love this, but cooking in a hat is not the right thing to do. So please understand here, I'll direct, my hat will be right here. Where, maybe turn it around so everybody can maybe see the hat a little bit. Who knows? Anyway, you guys, so we've got a little this going. I'm probably going to let this sit for a couple of days, and then I'm going to strain off the basil leaves themselves, but that breaking it up means that all of the oil from the leaves is going to get into the oil, and it will be a nice pretty green and all of that. What is next? Well, let's get this, because we can do this and get this off the deck. So here I had, I don't know, maybe a ½ pound of blue cheese, and I just crumbled up about 2/3 of it in here. I've got a couple tablespoons, I think about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise already in here. If I can find, I'm going to put a couple of bits of hot sauce in here, just a couple, and probably, always a little umami is good, right? How about a little Worcestershire sauce? And you can, if you want your dressing to stay really sort of white, be careful with how much of this you put in, because it will discolor it and make it a wee bit brown. I don't mind that. Flavor is almost always as important to me as the look. Now, you know, you can always make things look pretty. I'm not going to put any salt in this right now because, you know, blue cheese tends to be pretty salty. And I'm going to get a little spoon and see where we are consistency wise with my mayonnaise versus my there we go, that's pretty nice. So that's good and chunky and lovely. Really just rub that on anything and I'd eat it. Oh, just nice kick of spice, just exactly right. Ooh, baby, there we go. And then I'm going to put maybe a tablespoon of heavy cream in here. There we go. and just incorporate it a little bit. And then that can go and sit down, sit in the fridge, get cold again. And then I always take it out. I always kind of leave it chunky like this because you never know what you want to use it for. If I'm going to put it on the side of a piece of chicken, I want it to be a different consistency than if I'm dressing a head of iceberg lettuce, right? So I'm going to leave that like that. And this can go over here to my secret place. I always think about Ina Garden when I'm cooking because I always say I want to live Ina's life. Where, you know, in Ina's world, she would show you this, she would pour it, and then when you came back, it's gone. It's just gone. Things magically happen at Ina's house. And I wish I lived in that kind of a world. Where do you think I would put this? There it is. So, that's the problem. Rehydrating. I had a lot of fun for Derby Eve last night. You know, my neighbor is a dear friend, and we have mastered the art of social distancing and yet having fun. So we had a lot of fun last night. So I'm starting out with water. So this can go away also. Look how I'm clearing the deck. Isn't this nice? So I'm gonna let these little guys sit in the pan while I cook that chicken breast, although I may not have a big enough pan for that giant chicken breast. That's very small. Let's get a bigger pan. Pardon me, boys and girls. Here we go. Get these back in place. Here we go. I'm so sorry. Pardon me if you don't have the most attractive view of me or no view at all. Here we go. And I had some weird idea that a smaller pan meant less cleanup. That's not really true. So one thing I am going to do is all of this, my onion, salt, and garlic powder is now all good into that. And I'll let the rest of it kind of get onto the other side. That's great. Beautiful. Okay, so that's about ready. Wash my hand. So guys, hello Gina, hello Cindy, hello John, hello Amy, hello Kevin. You guys, this is all great to see you all here. I have to say that I started out very, very melancholy, and I'm already feeling a little better. So you've worked your magic on me, so I appreciate that. Here we go. So I'm going to get the heat started here. There we go. Let it not too high. I have a tendency to cook things, you know, the hotter the faster, right? So I'm going to try not to do that. Here's another thing I have sitting over here. I had drained some ricotta. So since I've got this pizza dough left over from the night or however many ago, I'm going to, maybe I'll use that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, or maybe I'll make just like a focaccia would be, ooh, that's a really good idea. Maybe that's what I'll do. We'll see what happens. So there's that. This needs a little oil over here. Perfect. There we go. So I guess we're going to go into a cooking mode here in the next little bit. Hello, Cindy. Let's see. I need some tongs. And I'm going to wait for this to get hot. Put these over here. Anyway, so guys, what are you doing today? It is the first pretty day. This morning they said on the news it's the first nice weekend in New York since March. So just put that on for a moment. It's interesting. I went to see if I could get a zip car to go to the country, and I can't get a zip car for more than like a couple of hours. I walked by, the city bikes are gone. There's no city bikes. I have no idea where everybody is, but they're not here. So I was able to find one zip car that I could have for an overnight, and it was in a place in Brooklyn I couldn't find on a map. So I decided that was probably God's way of telling me I needed to stay the hell home, right? So anyway, just a little more salt on the back side here since it didn't get as seasoned as the skin side did, right? And I cook my chicken, so I usually cook one piece at a time on the stovetop with a little bit of oil in a nonstick pan. Because I don't like to turn the oven on. Turning the oven on can make it hot in here, and it's just almost impossible to blow the heat out sometimes. And it's going to be nearly 80 degrees tomorrow. So I don't want to get it hot in here and have to turn the air conditioning on. I'm kind of allergic to the air conditioner, and so my head gets stuffy and I'm miserable for the next 3 or 4 months. I don't look forward to air conditioning. Anyway, so guys, look how fast I cleared off that cupboard right there. That was, got to see the top of things again. I guess I could boil a little water and get these beans just blanched. I'm loving this. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like I said, my friend Kelly would have arrived here probably on Wednesday, and we'd have been cooking up a storm for the last 2 days. And my buddy Alex would be on his way down from New Haven, and Rebecca would be on her way from Newport, and I don't know who all else, but Sale and Jody would be at their apartment on the Upper West Side, and they'd be coming down here. We'd all have hats and pretty dresses on. Maybe Alex wouldn't wear a hat and a pretty dress, but you know. So anyway, guys, let's see. Thank you, darling. Thank you. I'm not a genius. I just have found that cooking and talking are something I can do at the same time. Oh gosh. So this is nice, and maybe what I can do is get out my grater. Where did I put the grater? I should put the grater probably in a better place than it probably is. I think it's up here, and that's too challenging, but let's get it out anyway, because you know I like a good grate. Hold on just one, yay, second. Excellent. Fancy grater. One of my favorite gifts from quarantine. And speaking of gifts in quarantine, I love giving credit where credit is due. And let's see. Look what I received from my friend Kelly Burns this morning in the post. I'm very pleased. Now I have no excuse to do anything except bake all week. And then, give me 1 second. Yesterday, I received a huge box, I can't even hold them all, of puzzles from my friend Meg Dupree Booth, who we know from DePaul days. So I have this huge box of puzzles. So if anybody wants to come over and work a puzzle with me, we have Kandinsky and Escher and lots of nature and flowers. Come on down, we're working puzzles. Woohoo! So, I guess I could use a small bowl. What was what? Did I miss something? Alright, so let's grate. So guys, tell me what you're doing today. Anybody cooking anything? Is the weather nice where you are? I have made a personal decision, what with all these back to work orders going around in different states. I figure I can set my own, right? I work for myself. I can probably make the choice that needs to be made, and I think most of my clients would probably would agree with me. Until hospitals allow visitors, stay home. Because if it's not safe for you to go into a hospital, it's not safe for you to go to work, right? If they can't, in the cleanest place in your community, make it okay for you to go visit your dying grandmother or to visit your brand new grandchild or whatever it happens to be, the occasion that draws you a family member to the hospital, it's not okay for you to be there. It's not okay for you to be anywhere, right? So that's my take on this. I know not everybody would be in agreement with me, but you don't have to. I live alone. Nobody has to agree with me. So, blue skies, sunny and beautiful in Kentucky. Isn't that terrible? A perfect day that should have been Derby. If it's rainy on September 5th, I'll be so mad. Oh, my goodness. So here I've got a nice bunch of shredded carrots here that I can pop into any salads or a quick stir fry. I think still have a box of rice left over from Indian food on what, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even know anymore. So I've really kind of lost the ability to tell one day from another. I literally have to look at the calendar. I get out of bed in the morning and I just stand there for a while and see if I can figure out what day I think it is. That's what I do. But, you know, we all got to do what we got to do, right, guys? Here we go. So, another task accomplished. Excellent. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to come and put things out of the way so I feel a sense of accomplishment. And what else? The water is coming up over here, so these guys can get ready to go. So this is ready to use. They can go right into the microwave and be steamed in this bag. I don't own a microwave. So as soon as this water comes up to a rolling boil, I'm going to throw a little salt in it, pop these in just for like a minute or two, just enough to really get the color to come up. Because again, I want them to be prepared so that I can use them in a variety of ways, right? Like my blue cheese could be very quickly turned into a nice liquidy dressing, and that kind of thing. These we might want to eat them raw. We might want to toss them into a stir fry, any kind of thing. So, I watched the pot. Let me get the lid out. Maybe that'll help. Voila. Okay. So, guys, my goodness, how the time flies. Now that I'm feeling less melancholy, you're right, I probably do need to flip the chicken. But more importantly, I need to get the bottle of wine out. Did you see what I did? Here we go. Tongs. Lost the tongs. I realized that if I had a bigger house, I'd just lose everything more often. Oh yeah, I got that old very, very brown, but that's okay. Sometimes you forget what you're doing. But it doesn't smell bad. Interesting. These guys overcooked, so we're going to toss them out. You know, that's like I said, I'm not a cooking genius. I just can cook and talk, and sometimes I'll forget what I'm doing and not manage to turn the chicken in time. So, and I really thought I had this turned down very low, but I guess I could turn it down much lower. Oh, very good. Nice. So anyway, that's a good reason to keep the skin on. Now I burned the skin and not the chicken itself. And so this bottle of wine probably could be colder, but it's so good. I discovered it. I'm a little mad at the local liquor store because they closed like 6 weeks ago, and they only yesterday showed back up to kind of dust the bottles off. And I feel like that shows a lack of commitment to the community. I'm looking around and seeing all the other businesses that have stayed open, right, and have been here, and it kind of bums me out. So I found this just the other day at a place not too far away on 14th Street. It's a Cremant de Joie. It is from our wonderful friends at Skurnick. I always say that a great tip for how to shop for wine, you know, if you know that there's a style of wine or a location wine comes from that you like, get to know a few distributors. People who import and distribute wines on foreign wines are going to be here on the back label. Sometimes it will be something very recognizable like Skurnick. They're a family name. You'll see it on lots of different bottles. Another that I think is a good one, there's so many, and probably not a good thing to get into that off the top of my head because who knows. And maybe I'll do a little distributors to love bit in the next couple of days. That's probably not a bad idea for a drinking in quarantine. So, throw the salt in. Rachel Ray says not to put salt in your pot until the water is boiling, because otherwise it can scar your pot. If Rachel says it, it's good enough for me. So again, I'm just going to put these in here just for a few minutes, a minute, maybe two, while I open this beautiful bottle of Rosé. Cremant de Jura. So, you know how I have that bubble problem, and I've really been doing a good job of not drinking bubbles all the time while we've been in quarantine. I don't have a cloth. Here we go. And, but sometimes you just gotta. It's supposed to be Derby today, and we would be having bubbles for breakfast here at my house while we were getting ready for the party. And that would be just, you know, until it was time to start tipping into the tea. Oh my goodness. So what else is happening here? My chicken is, oh, that's not really too terribly overcooked. This is a really massive chicken breast. So I'm going to let that sit there. I think it's going to take a while to cook. Let me see how these little guys are looking pretty. They've come up in color really nicely. I'm going to let them sit here just for another second or two because I still see there are places where the green hasn't come up to a vibrancy all around yet. Bada bang. Bada bang. Alright. Now, this is not as cold as I want it, so I'm just going to pour a shallow glass and put it right back in to the freezer at that. Beans. Oh, just about time. Let's get this. Voila. Facial. Let's turn this off. What's happened to my music? Oh, it's the Image Awards. He'll start playing in a minute. I thought, why is it suddenly Spike Lee when it should be Prince all day? All right, so I'm going to let a little cool water run over these. I'm not going to fuss with having the whole dealing with getting the ice out. I think I can stop the cooking pretty fast here so that they stay nice and crisp. And I could eat these like candy. These sugar snap peas. In the summertime, I like to keep a whole bunch of stuff like that in the fridge, just and have that instead of eating, right? No reason to prepare food when everything is nice and fresh. And heavy cream can go in the fridge before it goes bad. There we go. Oh my. This will be ready for this. This needs to be rinsed out. I'm kind of to the place, guys, where I have to do a little tidying before I can do anything more. So, hi Bobby, how you doing? Oh, we've only been on here for a half an hour. I'll hang out a little while. I got no place to be. You got any place to be? I sure do not. So, maybe transfer the basil into this thing. Probably a good idea. I think that this probably needs to be spooned rather than poured. I'm always afraid my one drawer is going to break, and treat it with tender, loving kindness, especially now that I've taken so many pounds of things out of it. When I Marie Kondoed on Monday. There we go. Perfect. I think I'm not going to worry too much about that tipping. Perfect. Stay with me. Do not fall. Excellent. So far a success. And so fragrant. That's why I wanted really to preserve this. I mean, you can use, but to keep that right here, that you can just pull it, pop it out, and drizzle it onto anything. Now that I'm smelling this, I'm kind of thinking, again, I've got the pizza crust over here, or the pizza dough, that has gotten so hugely puffed up. And I think maybe this would be great, like with this and roasted garlic and some really coarse salt might make a really great thing. So let's try it. My sink just gets fuller and fuller and fuller. Okay. Next, how's this piece of chicken looking? That needs to lay there a little bit. I kind of fool with them and make sure that they brown on wherever you can, where you've got a surface. Sometimes you just have to kind of hold it in a funny position. Now, this could use a top, but I don't think I have a top that's big enough for this one. Let me see. That's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay for the moment. Right? Privation cooking, we make do with what we have. So, hello, Susan. Here we go. So I think I have to remove a couple of things here. Hooray, we can get rid of this. I really need a bigger kitchen. I just put my Cuisinart in my handbag. That literally has to be an Oscar Wilde story, right? The Cuisinart's in my handbag. I wonder what's in the pram, right? Okay, guys. So you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to have to do some dishes or I can't move on to the next thing, I don't think. So my beans are nice and cool, so that's good. Give them a little turn just in case. We're drinking a beautiful Cremant de Jura. Domaine Rolle, imported by the fine folks at Skurnick. I love Prince. I love Prince. As I said, the sound of my youth was purple. Sorry. So, we're going to wash dishes, so you guys have to ask me questions so I don't just sit here and, like I just did, zone out and forget that you all are right here and I'm not just cleaning my house. Oh, gosh. And I do have to say that it has kind of gotten crazy, the whole keeping this kitchen clean has become kind of my second job, I think. But I have learned that the best thing I can do is go to bed with an empty sink. And if I go to bed with an empty sink, then it makes the kicking off the day a million times easier. Hello, Michael. Pardon me. So, what are we doing? The chicken is over here getting nice and warm under its hood. And I'm going to get these washed up in no time flat because even though the sink is full, it's not bad. I'm very excited. I have a shipment coming hopefully in the next few days. And I'm going to have new rubber gloves because you have no idea how wet and slimy these are. They are clearly full of holes. And I'm not even sure why I put them on anymore, but here we go. Okay, there's all kind of crazy noise going on over here, so let's turn that off until I can get back over there and look at it. Here we go. Oh my. I've never heard a sound like that in my life. I'm very excited and intrigued. Fabulous. And I'm almost there. So thank you for sitting around while I'm doing the washing up. But it's going to make doing the next phase ever so much nicer. There we go. Love me the way that I love you. There we go. That's good enough. I at least now have some room to throw some other stuff in there. Now, what's going on here? Let's find out. See how wet my hands are? I mean, is that pathetic or is that pathetic? Okay. Nice. Oh yes, I see. It's just the water bubbling off the lid. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear at all. Okay, give this a wipe up because I don't think that's necessary over there anymore. We don't want to steam it, right? That's not what I'm looking for. Okay. Thank you guys for putting up with the foolish portion of this day. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I can't focus on that right now, so that's gonna sit over there and be on hold for me for a minute. And I'm gonna get ready to do a little dough smushing over here, and it's gonna be ever so much easier to clean up if I do it on my little thing here. So I did one last night because I had a couple pieces of dough, and I made a small one last night for dinner, and I put a little cornmeal here. It was nice. I enjoyed the crunch of that. Hello, James. And let's see. And I think I did that because I know my flour is far away, and I have to move a lot of things to get to there, like this, and everything's a Chinese puzzle, but I got it. Luckily, things are movable. I'm gonna have to go. It's time to take the corks back to the recycle bin. So I'll get on that in the next day or two, because they're literally under my feet, and that's the kind of thing that, you know, you don't want to break your neck these days. I sure wouldn't want to go in for some kind of fusion spinal surgery right about now. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna flour that out and put this back. And now, this was a tiny little ball of dough about the size of my fist when I got it 2 days ago. And now it has literally popped its top. There we go. Ah, the miracle of yeast. So, I'm gonna put that right there, and God only knows how long it might take me to push this out to full size, but I sure would like to get it sort of thin, and because I think with all of this 2 days of rising that it's probably going to puff up real nicely. If it were actually Derby Day today, I would be making my famous angel biscuits, and I let them proof overnight, and then I pull them out and I let them proof come up to room, and before I punch them down and roll them out and punch them out, and then I dredge them in butter, and I put them in the pan, and I let them sit and rise again and again and again all day long until each pan gets used. So I get them all rolled out, and I bake them to need, because they're so good. Good salty country ham from Broadbent's, and good yeasty, soft, buttery biscuits. Now, I know people have different views on what kind of biscuit to use. Lots of people use the beaten biscuit, and the beaten biscuit is good if you make them fresh, but I have memories. My grandmother, on the day after Christmas, made us come and have country ham and beaten biscuits, and that she always bought the boxed kind, and they were just flat out terrible. So that's my aversion to beaten biscuits, right? So anyway, this is very springy, and there we go. Now, what am I going to put on this? I think one thing that we got to put some oil on it, and I've got some garlic that I roasted. Oh, and I have sun-dried tomatoes, and I've got some. I don't think I'm going to make this with any tomato, because I don't really want it to be pizza-y, because I've had so much pizza lately. I'm going to make it more like just bread. So, this is the last of this little jar, but I have another big jar in there if I decide I need some more. So that's about a teaspoon of roasted garlic in my favorite little jar. I love this to have this back. And then what would we do? Let's give this a good spread around. Yeah, let's see, I'm gonna need another spoonful or two to get this all over. And I'm sorry guys, I just realized you can't see anything because I've got all of these dishes here. So let me move this around a little bit real fast. I can put these things in my purse also. Let's see. There, now you can see stuff. perfect. I have this little bit of parm still here, so I thought I could sprinkle that on for sure. Here we go. Now, that's got to be better, right? Can you see? Oh, perfect. Now you can really see. I'm gonna need some salt. Do I have any really big chunky salt? I am out of super big chunky salt. So we'll use the salt. And I need more garlic. Pardon my being so confused today. Where did it go? Here it is. I have so many things in my fridge, you guys, you can't even imagine. Oh, I just found a cache of beets back there. Hey, babe. I need somebody to come over and eat. Can somebody come and eat regularly with me or for me? Here we go. Nice big jar of roasted garlic. So that looks good. Now that looks great. Oh, yeah. Let's get this all over. Big chunks. This is much chunkier than the other batch. So, look at that. Yum, yum, yum. It's a little, I roasted it. You can see there's sort of some brown bits, but the smell, because of that, is even more exceptional. Good, smushed all in. That looks great. And then a liberal sprinkling of salt, I'm gonna say, because that's I think why I love Grandaisi's focaccia so much, because you get those big chunks of salt with almost every bite. I just love them. So here we go. This is looking pretty good. Now, I really should turn on the oven and heat up the pan and all that, so I'm not ready to do that. I'll have to give you pictures later about how that turns out. Let me get this off my hands. There we go. So, I really think that I've done pretty much everything I set out to do this morning, right? We've gotten the focaccia made, we got the basil oil made, we got the green beans cooked, we got some carrots grated and blue cheese dressing made. So I think that's a pretty good accomplishment in 45 minutes. Holy cow. So like really guys, come over, eat anytime. Anybody's ever in New York, do not hesitate. Invite yourself over. And if I'm not in the mood to cook, I do live in a really great neighborhood for stuff. So thank you guys for showing up. I can't tell you, I was as grumpy and as melancholy as could be at the top of the hour. And having this has gotten my mind off the fact that it would be a different day if this were a different year. So thank you so much. And now that you've taken care of me, I'm going to say to you, go and take care of you. Take care of your mind, your body. I hear it's a beautiful day around the east coast of the country. Get outside, get some sunshine, get some exercise, stretch your legs. At the end of our arts class with my niece and nephew, we always do 50 jumping jacks, and I realized that pushes me on through the rest of the day. I really look forward to it now. And Kate's so cute. She's like, we have to do our jumping jacks. So that's it, guys. That's all I think I've got to do today. I will finish off the focaccia and finish off the chicken here in the next little bit. But yeah, I'm going to clean up, go about my day, go outside in the sunshine. The sun hasn't shone in a really long time here in New York, so oh my gosh, that was delicious. That garlicky spoon I just ate. One last little quick tip, and that is when you have something like roasted garlic or something that can go bad, if you'll kind of flatten it out. Look, I've got a big giant piece in there. How funny. I got that in there too. Let me get this out then. Literally the root end was in there. So anyway, I'm going to push this down, and then if you just make sure that you have a little slick of oil on top of it, that helps to keep any bacteria from living in there and preserves it a little bit longer than it might otherwise, right? The only things I'm going to do is, of course, put things away, bake this off, In a day or two, I'll probably put this into strain again to get the actual bits out so that it will stay longer. It will stay fresh longer. Oh, and I do have these little bits of cheese. We can throw these onto our pizza pie. So guys, like I said, take care of yourselves today. Do something kind for yourself if you can. Do something kind for someone else. Send somebody a friendly note, a phone call, a shout out. Drop off some food if you've got something extra to share. It's the best thing that you can do for yourself is to do for others. Okay, guys? So thank you so much. You've changed my day, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm going to go and pour myself another glass of wine. Happy Derby Day. Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home. Love you guys.